All right. Here we go. Summer celebration on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 1059 The Zone, brought to you by Sound and Communications. For your next video wall for your school, university, business, or hospital, your next video wall is powered by Sound and Communications. SoundcomAV.com. Audio visual. SoundcomAV.com for your next video wall. We welcome in our friend Mike Detillier, Saints LSU insider, WWL Radio TV New Orleans, coming straight out of the Manning Passing Academy. Mike D., and you'll have to explain to us what you can really take away from kind of the drills, but which college quarterback looked the best over the weekend at the Manning Passing Academy?
I would give it, there was a group of them, but Cade Klubnik from Clemson really impressed me throwing the football from a year ago. I thought he was erratic throwing the football a year ago. He looks like a totally different player today. Much more confident. He threw the football with accuracy and rhythm, and so I was really impressed with him. Lenora Sellers, certainly from South Carolina, was a not necessarily maybe the first day, but after that, man, he was right on target. More of a power thrower, but his mechanics are really good, and you can see that he's worked on his footwork, his over-the-top delivery. Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning, both were really throwing the football extremely well. And the one guy that surprised me is Levitt from Arizona State. He really threw the football extremely well. Bo, to be honest with you, I got to sit down and talk to him about his story, and he's an Oregon kid who goes to Michigan State. And, things don't work out there because of the coaching change. And he ends up at Arizona State. And, man, he put on a show. He was really impressive throwing the football. So those would be the guys that sort of stuck out to me as really having a consistent couple of days of camp, throwing the football, got rifle forearms. But, we had 48 starting quarterbacks here in college football. And so all of them, had their moments where they looked really good. But to kind of signal about it would certainly be Klubnik from Clemson and Lenora Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning, and Levitt from Arizona State.
Wow. How about that, Mississippi State fans? Y'all get to host Arizona State game 2. And you saw a little bit of Sam Levitt last year, but Scattaboo was the one that dominated you, and now Sam Levitt is back. Scattaboo is at the New York Giants with Jackson Dart.
Yep.
Yeah. And
he talked a lot about Scattaboo that here's a guy that 2 years ago he was at Sacramento State.
Incredible.
Running the football. And he said, he sort of took over the locker room. Hey, I'm the leader here, or one of the leaders here. And he said, he wasn't afraid to tell anybody anything. If you messed up, you were going to have to deal with him. So he said, he made my job a lot easier, kind of running the offense. He said he knew basically every little inch of what had to be known offensively. And he said, we're going to miss him, but that's a team that has recruited pretty well. They're starting to believe in one another.
Yeah.
And they got a guy under center that can make it happen. Sam Levitt's a good player. Yeah, I'm telling you, he was impressive. And what I liked about him, he can throw the short ball really well, but it was that intermediate stuff he was really impressive at. That that 15 to 25 yard throw, man, he gets it in there and it's tight throws and he puts it in there. And the thing about these quarterbacks, people say, well, that doesn't tell you a heck of a lot because there's no pressure and all. That's true. But they're also throwing to receivers they've never thrown to. Other than Nussmeier throwing to some LSU receivers, these other guys that are there, they're throwing to receivers they've never worked with before. That's what makes it really, really impressive.
Mike Detillier was at the Manning Passing Academy over the weekend, and two of the guys that did really well actually will face each other. Game one, Garrett Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik.
That's right.
I mean, hello. Talking about a game early. And it's in Clemson, which is going to be tough right there. Lenore Sellers, yeah, I'm interested to see like how polished he is throwing the football. We know he can run it, his physicality. Tom Luganbill called him a better a Jalen Milroe, but better passer. So you feel like he's kind of refined, tweaked, and gotten better the last 6 months of the offseason. Is that right, Mike?
No question. You can tell with his footwork and his delivery. He's really worked hard at that. And, man, that ball comes out of there so fast. And he's got a rifle. I don't want to compare him because he's a much more accurate passer, but he's built like Anthony Richardson, but he throws the football a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Because Anthony Richardson came down here, he put on a show. He was not accurate, but it was just his physical gifts. You could see, with his size and his arm strength and his ability to move, that he was such a gifted athlete. But one thing also stuck out in the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday morning sessions, he was not accurate at all. Sellers a little bit Thursday, and I can understand it's first time, you getting together with a whole new group of receivers, but he was accurate the entire time frame. I couldn't say that about Richardson. It wasn't the case. So, yeah, he's going to be a handful. Now, the negative is he doesn't have that defense to back him up like he had a year ago. And, man, you didn't want to catch them late in the year. They were really tough defensively. They got after you. Mm-hmm. And you could see by, they had 5 draft choices on the defensive side of the football. But they're going to be an explosive offensive team, and he's going to be the leader of that group.
Mike Detillier on the Out of Bounds show. Here are some of the guys that stood out over the weekend at the Manning Passing Academy. Cade Klubnik with Clemson. Lenore Sellers, South Carolina with Beamer. Garrett Nussmeier, who I think is going to have a phenomenal year for LSU in year 2 as a starter. Arch Manning, of course, and Sam Leavitt, who Mississippi State saw. He didn't really have to do much last year because of the way they did a scoop and score in the game, and they dominated on the ground with Scattaboo. But this dude's getting better and better. So Dillingham will take Sam Leavitt into Starkville in week 2 to Mississippi State. That's a must-win game for Jeff Levy in year 2. Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Mike D., did you get to visit with John Gruden?
No, for whatever reason, him and I did not meet up. John almost had like a film crew. He was going from place to place, and so I can't move real well today with my reconstructed knee. So I didn't get a chance to meet up with him. But man, he was moving all over because they have it's 14 different stations, and so John was rolling with it. So I didn't get a
Wow.
chance to talk to him.
Wow. Yeah, it looked like he was having a large time. All right. So if Arch Manning, if he has a big year, do you think it's automatic he goes to the draft, or
No, no. I would be absolutely shocked if he left and is involved in the 2026 draft. I'd be shocked. I think he's going to play in 2 seasons in college football. I
okay?
really do. I mean, he didn't have much experience
No,
at
I'm
the
with you.
collegiate level. The one thing Archie told me, and it sticks in my mind, was that I'd asked him what advice he gave LaLarche, and he said, I just told him I want him to enjoy his college experience. He says basically what I told Peyton's, what I told Eli and Cooper. I want him to enjoy that because it's a one-time thing, and you're not going to get that chance again. And he's had some playing time, but he's never really been the full-time starter at Texas. And so what's so funny is Little Arch told me the exact same story. He sort of repeated what Red told him. He told me that, I asked him about his college experience, and he said, I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy that time. And it was exactly what Archie had told me. So I suspect that I would be really surprised if he came out early. Peyton didn't do it when he had every opportunity to. You think about Eli, he was a fifth-year guy because he redshirted at Ole Miss. So I think you're going to see Arch at Texas for 2 more years.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me just because you need at least 25 games under your belt and that type deal. That golly, can you imagine if he does play 2 years at Texas? Holy smokes! Is that?
And I think too, Bo, that this is a Pete Jenkins comment to me because Pete was real close with Nick Saban, and he helped coach the defensive line for a while there, and he was sort of Nick Saban's consultant in chief. And he was on that staff too when Sark was there. And he was like, Sark's going to redo that offense. It will not look the same as it looked with Quinn Ewers because Arch is different. His ability to run the football. And he says, there are going to be some new wrinkles in that offense that we didn't see over the last couple of years. Because basically Sarkisian built that offense around Ewers. He says now he's going to rebuild that offense around Arch Manning. Well, they'll take full use and of his ability to move, which little Arch can move really well. He's more the athlete of his grandpa than certainly his 2 uncles.
Yeah, I mean his mobility and I think people are going to be surprised at his athleticism, don't you, Mike D?
Yeah, because I got to see it when he was in high school. Man, he moved around really well. And he throws the ball off the run extremely well. And when I asked him what he worked the most on, he said becoming a pocket passer. And he just sort of smiled at me. So I knew exactly where he was going with that. Because, when you're in high school, it's a lot of improvisation, even though it's set plays, that he was throwing the ball a lot on the run. But I think with Sark, because of the receiving core, the tight ends, and the running game, because he does have a tremendous amount of talent built around him. I mean, Texas has got some studs on that team. So he did say he was going to miss Kelvin Banks at that left tackle position, but man, they got some talent at Texas. So I think you're going to see it look a little differently at Texas because of Arch. And I know Pete has told me this, that he thinks that Sarkisian's the best play caller in college football.
He's
That's
up
his
there.
opinion. He said he really thinks he's the best play caller they have in college football.
I think he's right. Yeah. I mean, you could go with 1, 2, 3. I mean, Mike, you got Sark, you got Lincoln, you got Brom, you got Kiffin, you got Heupel. I mean, there are some really, really good ones out there, Mike D, as you know. Grubb, now that Grubb's back at Alabama, I think Bama's going to be sizzling. I think DeBoer and Grubb together are potent, and him coming back from the Seahawks, I think that's going to put some spice, and we'll see what Ty Simpson is at. I mean, I give kids credit that have stayed the course and waited their time and stayed at one place. We'll see what, DeBoer, Grubb, and Ty Simpson can do at Alabama. They may can find the magic, Mike D.
If I closed my eyes and I didn't know any better and just watched him throw, Ty Simpson, his mechanics and his setup and delivery are almost exactly that of Garrett Nussmeier.
Nice.
I mean, it's close. So, we sit down and talk Friday, and I told him, man, you remind me so much, not personality or size or anything, but the mechanical part of throwing and the setup and the delivery and all. And he was like, yeah, my coaches tell me the same thing. We actually have that tape we're going to play today on Sports Talk on WWL, where he jumped on that real quick. He was like, yeah, they tell me the exact same thing. And I'm telling you, if you watched him, like if you went to the field he was throwing on with the high school players, you would have, and you didn't know it was Ty Simpson, you'd have swore it was Garrett Nussmeier.
Wow.
They have a lot of the same similarities in their setup and delivery. Very, very similar. The guy I wanted to see, and certainly he was one of them too, was also Austin Simmons from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
He hadn't played a lot of football. And physically, first time you meet up with him, you're like, whoa, he's a big dude. And that, he was impressive to me. You can tell, really smart young man, and he gets it very quickly. He's a quick pickup type of guy, and I know Archie just raved about him to me before he came to the camp about how smart he was, how physically gifted, and I said, again, the expectations for him is going to be, he's in Lane Kiffin's offense, so, he's going to be, 65, 70% completion guy, which he said that's putting a lot on his plate to do that. But, man, he's got some physical gifts that are really, really impressive. And a very smart young man, and you can tell by the way he speaks. And so I'm hobbling around. I had knee replacement 3 weeks ago, so I'm walking with the cane. When he sees me, he was like, you need to sit down. I'll stand up, do the interview. I was like, no, I'm good. But he's like, oh, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. But it was just to watch him throw. Because, man, he put some of them out there, I mean, right on the money. So I'm interested to watch him play because we really hadn't seen a ton of play out of Austin. Really haven't seen a lot from Ty. We've seen a little bit more of him than Austin. But those two young bucks, so to speak, different style passers, and, their foray into playing in the Southeast Conference. And both of them talked about it. Hey, we understand what it's going to be all about. We understand the pressures, and just not to try to do too much. And to hear both of them say it, Bo, tells me they get it. Because you got some quarterbacks coming here, oh, man, I got this no matter what. They don't realize the jump from high school football to college. It reminds me of some of the texters and callers I get in. Well, football's football. If you can play in high school, you can play in college. Play in college, you can play in the pros. That means you ain't never played past where you played. And that's high school. That's a big difference, Hoss.
Amen to that.
but I got them. We got plenty of them like that. That they think they know everything about it, and both these young men understood that hey, it's their teams. They've got some pressure that they got to deal with in being the starting quarterback at University of Alabama, University at Ole Miss, but that there's going to be some growing pains along the way, and I'm interested to watch him throw the football. To be honest with you, but and we heard it from every quarterback that had played that next year, that second year is the growth period with all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, hey, I know Austin Simmons hasn't played much at Ole Miss, like you said, but Lane Kiffin and Joe Judge are telling people left and right that he will be an NFL quarterback. Not right now, but he will eventually. So there's a lot of excitement again. I mean, they've been on a roll. Matt Corral, Jackson Dart, and if Simmons is what they believe he is, then he'll be really, really good. Damn near anybody's good in Kiffin's system. So if you're talented, like some of the guys I'm referencing, you're really good. Mike Detillier on the Out of Bounds show. Mike D, thank you so much for doing this, in the middle of the summer. I hope you and your family have a wonderful 4th of July, and we'll catch up next week, my man.
Oh, thanks so much, everybody. Also, be safe. Have a great 4th of July.
Thanks, Mike D.
Righty, brother.
He's the best at Mike Detillier on Twitter. WWL Radio TV New Orleans. Saints LSU insider Mike Detillier joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Go with the home team, as Jake Mangum likes to tell us. And he's the dude, that's for sure. Tampa Bay Rays, Jake Mangum. So happy for him. Mike Detillier on the Out of Bounds show. If you want to listen to it again, where he talked about Lenora Sellers, who Ole Miss will face from South Carolina. Garrett Nussmeier, who Ole Miss will face from LSU. Arch Manning from Texas. Sam Levitt from Arizona State. Mississippi State will play. Will that be Coleman Hutzler calling the plays as the defensive coordinator? Or Mike McIntyre calling the plays as the defensive coordinator? Who's the most accomplished coach on your staff in Starkville? Mike McIntyre. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. The Out of Bounds show is brought to you by your next spray-in bedliners from Rick's Pro Truck, any of the 3 locations.
say, kids, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m. and this ain't no K show. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
All aboard!
As Mississippi's #1 morning show rolls on the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
Good morning. Welcome in. The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by Breakfast and Lunch at Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. Breakfast sandwiches to go, full lunch, blue plates, sandwiches, and the like, plus grab and go. Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. They also have ice cold beer like Michelob Ultra and Mango Cart, all at Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. Good morning. Welcome in. Out of Bounds 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Show is also brought to you by the Zero Turn Mowers from Hartley Equipment in Gluckstadt. And that's an X-Mark Zero Turn Mower. Skag Zero Turn Mower. And Bad Boy Zero Turn Mower. All powered by Hartley Equipment in Gluckstadt on Church Road. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. You can get in touch with us on the Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776.
What?
Twitter X at Bo Bounds. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. And the Mango Cart caller line is 601-707-3750. Don't forget about this throughout the summer.
If you're smart, you go get somebody that's 300 pounds and smell like bacon that's ready to come out the end because we need defensive linemen.
Bo Bounds, Jackson Meadows with you. Jackson, do you like mac and cheese?
Oh, yeah.
Because I love the mac and cheese at Two Brothers.
Oh, yeah. That's
Little pork belly mac and cheese?
very, very good.
Okay.
Quality mac and cheese.
Yeah, I'm talking, I don't mean the crap out of the box that you ate when you were 7 years old.
Can't do
All
that.
right. So you love mac and cheese.
Love mac and cheese.
Which one would you, if you had to pick between these two, which for life,
Okay.
could only have one,
All right.
mac and cheese or banana pudding?
Oh, gosh. Banana pudding.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mac and cheese is up there, but it ain't banana pudding.
You and Wilkes ordered banana pudding from Burgers Blues Barbecue last week.
Yeah, it's because we're smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
That banana pudding just, something about it.
Okay.
Something about it does something to me.
What about tacos or banana pudding? You had to go with one for the rest of your life.
What kind of tacos?
You get to, whether it was pork belly, pulled pork,
man.
redfish,
Oh, that's not fair.
black
tacos.
and redfish tacos.
Yeah, I love that. I'm all in on those.
Fried shrimp taco at Two Brothers is amazing.
Taco me.
Okay.
There's no way. I mean, I can't go against that.
All right. I was just,
That wouldn't be right.
yeah.
Because they're versatile. I mean, I can make a banana pudding taco. I can make anything a taco.
Actually, you're right.
That
That's
is
kind
right.
of where we are in the culinary world this
Is it
day and
not?
age.
I mean,
You can make steak tacos,
Wrap
chicken
it up.
tacos, redfish.
you wrap it in a
Shrimp.
tortilla and it's a taco.
Yeah. Pork, but the list goes on and on. Okay. Let's see. Do I have anything else here? Okay. If you had to pick one, for the rest of your life, burgers or tacos?
Tacos.
Okay.
Tacos, yeah. I went on a mad non-burger spread. I went like a few years without eating a burger. Multiple years. 3 maybe.
Would you go vegan?
No, I went chicken. A lot of more chicken than burger, honestly. I just didn't like I just didn't like the ground beef burger for a while. And then Burgers Blues and Barbecue put me back on. They actually, it may have been their fault in the beginning because I ate so many of them.
Oh, the first time you were with me,
Yeah, I might have
you and Roger would go 4 to 8 times a month.
God.
And you gained how much weight? 30 pounds. You got up. What did you get up to?
Like 215.
Okay.
Yeah, 215. 220.
All right. Because you got
25.
You got a little fluffy.
Oh, yeah. I was,
Is that the biggest you've ever been?
oh, yeah.
Okay.
220, 225. That's big.
You were at 220?
Yeah.
225?
I know I clipped 225 for a minute.
Okay.
I had to, get that on
Y'all,
down.
you and Roger were power eating
Me and Roger could go
at
toe to
Burgers,
toe.
Blues, and Barbecue. Rest in peace, Roger.
Yeah.
Love him.
Man,
One of the amazing radio talents
it's incredible.
in our state.
Yeah.
Talking about versatility.
On it was wild.
That guy, I mean,
Remember the first time
he was the MC for Tiffany's, cabaret. He was on some of the biggest shows.
his voice was different for each.
He could change
He
his
was
voice.
incredible.
I mean,
And-
Rob J is one of the most talented
Yes,
people
he
to
is.
ever come through this state.
Absolutely.
And what he can do is unbelievable, remarkable. Roger could change his voice.
Yeah, I remember the first time he taught me about a radio voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was astonished. I had no idea.
I think you can use this. Okay.
Yeah,
That was pretty solid right
Yeah,
there.
it definitely was. I mean, it was. It took me aback.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got up to, you're 6'4".
Yeah.
You got up to 220. What do you weigh now?
Like 190, probably 185,
Okay.
something like that.
All right.
Yeah, I mean that's big for me. Playing weight was 185.
In high school,
Yeah.
when you were dominating
Dominating.
out in Clinton.
I mean, dominating.
Yeah.
Out.
Multi-sport athlete
That's right. Out in Raymond.
in Raymond.
Yeah, because we had to play at Rebel.
Oh, was that y'all's home gym?
Yeah, Rebel was our home gym. Yeah, because we didn't have our own gym.
Golly. Where's Rebel?
Raymond.
Is
Yeah,
it in
it's out-
Raymond?
Yeah, it's out there by Gibbs. Yeah,
Oh.
because it was out there. I think it's closed, but I believe it's Raymond, Edwards, Bolton, Utica, Learned. It's
Okay.
in Learned. That's where it's at.
Is it Learned?
It's Learned. That's correct.
Are you sure? I don't know.
I'm like 97%.
Let's ask our audience.
Somebody knows.
The text line, 601-885-3776.
They got a population of 55.
No way.
55.
Hey, I got a question. What restaurants do you remember going to frequently with your parents?
El Chico.
The one that it was over by Metro Center?
One of the best. I loved that restaurant.
Dude, when I started Sports Talk Radio in 2003,
You right there.
El Chico was still open.
Yeah.
The one that we went to on the frontage road in North Jackson
Right.
was closed.
Okay.
I think, frontage road. And so I had not thought about El Chico in years.
Golly.
And I get the job, and I'm doing lunchtime show. That's
Right,
where I
right, right.
started, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then I moved to the afternoon drive with Jeff Norris.
Yeah.
Right? But I was 11 a.m. to 1 with Brian Eubank. So that was when you would eat. And I started eating El Chico again.
I bet.
That place was still packed.
It was.
I don't know
packed.
how it closed.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I walked in to get a to-go order. Within the first, couple weeks, I was with Super Sport 930.
Right.
And you couldn't move. This was 2003, the fall, Eli Manning senior years when I started Sports Talk Radio on AM. I walk in the little foyer. You can't move.
No.
I don't know how they closed.
I don't either.
But, we would eventually move to the alumni house in Ridgeland and then, Pear Orchard and then here.
Right.
But, man,
I mean,
El Chico was kicking in
Yeah.
1987.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Mine was Que Sera, Fisherman's Wharf. Trying to think. I'll come up with another one.
Yeah, I want to know the other ones.
Yeah. All
I
right.
think of mine.
Yeah. What restaurants do you remember going to frequently with your parents? For those of you now, Buc-ee's doesn't count.
No.
We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Show is brought to you by the Armory, Lake Harbor, and Ridgeland for all your firearms, optics, and suppressors. Man. Sounds like we're coming out for a rock concert. All right. Good morning. Welcome in. We are the Out of Bounds Show. 1059 The Zone, ESPN. Mike Detillier talked about Austin Simmons, the Ole Miss quarterback that people are beyond excited about. Lane Kiffin and Joe Judge are telling people how talented the young man is. And it looks like Lane's got another one. He inherited Matt Corral, did a great job with Matt. He recruited Jackson Dart. Dart had a remarkable career in Oxford. And now Austin Simmons gets the keys to the Lamborghini in Oxford. And again, those are two guys that know quarterbacks, Lane Kiffin and Joe Judge. Joe is basically a senior offensive analyst. He gets to do kind of what he wants. You see him. He's not one of the 10 assistant on-field coaches, and you don't have to be now. But you see him with the headset by Lane and dealing with the quarterbacks as basically the QB coach with Lane.
Right.
And you saw that last year, that they are in constant communication throughout the game. And obviously, Judge is talking to Dart all the time, and he'll be talking to Simmons too. Joe had some other opportunities. He decided to stay in Oxford another year. Mississippi State alum.
Yeah.
Wanted the head coaching job at MSU. Coached under Belichick for years as a special teams coordinator. Was basically hired at Mississippi State before Leach was hired, and then
Backed out.
no
Giants.
No, the Giants job opened up.
Forgot about that.
Okay.
Wow.
Dang. And the rest, my friends, is history.
That's crazy.
Cohen moves off Joe Judge, goes and gets Mike Leach, and it's a totally different, deal. It's a lot of if Matt Rule doesn't take the Carolina Panthers job, then Joe Judge is your head football coach instead of Mike Leach.
Right.
Now, would he have won enough to still be your coach? I don't know. And then when it opened up again after Leach died and Arnett took over and that didn't work out, you had another search. Joe Judge wanted the job again. And Zach Selman decided to go with Jeff Levy. And we'll see how that works out this year. I think he's got to win 5 games to continue the stay in Starkville. And you got to, you have to win your 4 non-cons, start 4-0, and then win an SEC game. And there's some opportunities, and this shouldn't be you're going to have to play well on some Saturdays.
Yeah.
That's why you get paid a lot of money, and
That's right.
you've invested an insane amount of money into this roster. So anyway, Mike Detillier talked about Austin Simmons, but here's who else he talked about for Mississippi State and Ole Miss. And by the way, if you missed because you were running 17 miles this morning, and we're glad you did. I'm just kidding. If you working out, meeting, whatever you had going on. But if you missed Mike Detillier, he did talk Austin Simmons, but he was at the Manning Passing Academy where he said Austin Simmons looked good, but here's some other guys that jumped out at him. Cade Klubnik with Clemson, who's got the skills. We're going to see what he's all about this year. Lenora Sellers with South Carolina. Ole Miss will host the South Carolina Gamecocks this year. And Shane Beamer, who's didn't have Shane doing as well as he has. Congratulations to him. He's figured out how to win some and extend his stay in Columbia. And watch out, man. If Shane wins, because of Shane's personality, if he wins, he could win his way into a bigger job. Keep an eye on Shane Beamer at South Carolina. And Lenora Sellers is a hell of a quarterback. He got hurt last year, but when he was healthy, he could play. And so Mike talked about Lenora Sellers, who Ole Miss will play. Mike D talked about Garrett Nussmeier, at the Manning Passing Academy. And Ole Miss will play LSU. And by the way, both of these will be in Oxford, South Carolina and LSU. And then Arch Manning, he said he looked good. And Sam Levitt, Arch with Texas, Sam Levitt with Arizona State. Mississippi State will play both of those teams. And that's a must-win. Week one's a must-win for Levy. Week two's a must-win. Week three. So here it goes. We'll go through it. Week one, Southern Miss must win. Week two, Arizona State at home must win. Week three, I think what? Alcorn State? Wilkes, will you hand me that helmet schedule over there? It's somewhere in those papers. I didn't grab it for whatever reason. And then, so you go 4 non-cons. Thank you, buddy. 4 non-con. Yeah, I had it right. In Northern Illinois and then Tennessee. Okay. Got to go 4-0 for Jeff Levy. Those are the quarterbacks that Mike Detillier talked about. If you missed any of the conversation with Mike, it will be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Shout out to Gene. Gene Delcomen just texted me. And he said, Bo, you were just, we were talking about El Chico 22 years ago out at Metro Center. And that's when Bank Plus jumped on with us. And Gene's the one that I basically bird dog tracked down. Everywhere he showed up, I showed up.
Nice. And
they became the Bank Plus studio sponsor. Right. And it was a great idea. They were one of the first companies in the state of Mississippi who understood sports marketing. Eye Care Professionals has been with us forever. Pearl River Resort, the Rogue Men's Store, Shapley's, Kessler, Bank Plus. There was this core group that just, without them, we never would have made it. Now, sports marketing, most valuable real estate in the state of Mississippi and the SEC footprint. That's what we do every day, sports marketing. I'm going to put it on my LinkedIn account.
You should. Should put in all of it, all your bios.
And you got to put hydrocarbon chemist.
I think that might be in there.
In your, I don't even know if you have a LinkedIn account, but if you do, you have to put hydrocarbon chemist.
Yeah, I do need to put that.
And on your Twitter bio.
Yeah, I should.
And Instagram.
I mean, people need to know
that Jackson Meadows is a hydrocarbon chemist and Bo Bounds is in sports marketing.
An award-winning.
That's right. You went down to the awards last year on the Mississippi Gulf Coast and came home with like 5 trophies.
Swept them up. Just, an award-winning chemist, I guess.
I mean, you were like U2 or Michael Jackson or Prince in their heyday.
Walked out of there
with at a music award show.
Yeah, it made a lot of people mad.
Or like Chris Stapleton.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing that out.
I mean, that's worldwide.
I mean, he's talented.
He is worldwide.
You won several awards last year as a hydrocarbon chemist.
Sure did. 4 or 5.
If you're that good of a hydrocarbon chemist, then you should start smoking things. Not that on the grill, like briskets.
Okay.
Because you're into all that. You keep the temps for several hours and you track it and it's an art to it, is my point.
Yeah, I mean, I got a log.
Like, I have buddies that are amazing. If anybody wants to cook Jackson and I some brisket and Wilkes, some brisket, ribs, or a butt.
Come on. I'm in.
Or anything, just let us know and we'll plug your charity of choice. We're looking for some amazing local culinary chefs to do some things with us. Speaking of the Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. Lunch today brought to you by Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt.